Okay, everybody, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. And the Seattle Seahawks have had yet another training camp practice. Training camp practice number 10 has come and gone now. So we got some stuff to look at, although I will acknowledge the fact that as time goes by, these get less and less intriguing because it starts to lose its novelty. Like, there are certain things that happen at training camp that are very special because it's the first or second or even third session and everything feels new. But now that we're here with 10 practices down, it's starting to get to the point now where it's like, okay, most of the stuff you see is just expected and it's something that happened yesterday or the day before, and we're ready for real football. I can definitely feel that from me and the fan base. So luckily, we're going to at least get a mock game coming up pretty soon here, so that'll be nice. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So I'm going to talk about what there is to talk about, but we're definitely getting to a point now where it's like, okay, we're ready for some games that actually have some kind of a structure to them, even if it's just the mock game, which I know is not really a game, but at least it has the structure of one. So definitely excited for that. But let's talk about what can be talked about, starting with some roster stuff. Made a couple of minor roster moves today. We waived 2 players. Brandon Johnson, cornerback, was injured, so he is now out of here and probably reverts to our IR. And Garrett Nelson, who just got here, what was it, 1 or 2 days ago. So that was a pretty short stint here in Seattle. Barely enough time for a cup of coffee, but he is gone. And TJ Harden, a running back who was formerly with the Cleveland Browns, signed. And Jordan Washington, a cornerback, was signed. Jordan Washington spent 4 years at Dartmouth. And then last year he was a player for the Stanford Cardinal. So a little bit of college stuff there, but not really a lot to go on. The TJ Harden thing's a little bit more interesting because he's a bigger, slower guy. He barely runs a 1.7 10-yard split, 4.6 40. He's big. He's 218. So some people, like Curtis Allen, I think, brought this up, and Dan Viennes brought this up too. This might be like a fullback situation. This might be a thing where we're looking at him more as a fullback. And I think we had another fullback in for a visit. We didn't sign him, but it was Lampy. I know we had him in the building, so we thought about it. So it looks like we're looking for somebody that can do some fullback stuff. And that doesn't bode terribly well for Robbie Oots. And just to jump ahead a little bit here to something that Mike McDonald said near the end of the day, no further updates on Robbie Oots. So things starting to get hairy. So I'd like to be able to say that no news is good news, but in this case, I feel like we do have some news. I know that Mike is saying that nothing has changed and they're still going to wait and see on what happens with Robbie Oots, but I look at this and then I look at the fact that we met with another actual pure fullback in Lampy, and it feels like we are planning for life without Robbie Oots. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So not great there. But it is it is something where there's no point in getting upset about it yet until we get more official confirmation. But I'm not getting a good feeling about this Robbie Oots thing. I'll put it to you that way. All right, so that was basically all the injury stuff we got today. Not really a lot of injury adjacent updates over the last couple of days. So in that area, things are relatively stagnant. But overall, we've got it better than a lot of other teams. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. Okay, so going beyond that stuff, there was a little segment with Hawk Blogger, and I'm not sure if this clip was from yesterday when Fleury was on the podium and Hawk Blogger just didn't get a chance to post it until today or not. But there were two little tweet segments that Hawk Blogger had on his X account. First one was about Jalen Milroe, about the possibility of having sub packages in this offense, and Fleury basically saying that he's got to prove that he's ready to play traditional quarterback first, but also acknowledging that it could happen. So very big preseason coming up for Jalen Milroe here. I think we'd all like to get some value out of him, even if you're like me and you're not super optimistic about his NFL future as a quarterback. You still want him to help this team win while he can, because there is some stuff he can do. He's a really good athlete. He's got a big arm. There is some stuff to like, but it's just one of those things where even if it doesn't come all the way together, it can come together a little bit. And if it comes together a little bit, you can build sub packages for him. The other thing that Hawk Blogger posted, and this is now very pertinent in light of what's going on with Robbie Oots, he talked about using multiple running backs on the same play. He talked about lining up with two backs. He talked about utilizing other players in a lead back role, and basically saying those are the ways in which he would deal with not having Robbie Oots on the field if Oots is hurt. And it sounds like he is relatively prepared for life without Robbie Oots. I would definitely prefer, and I know it's a little bit unconventional, but one thing that I think would have been fun would have been seeing a little bit of Derek Young at fullback, but he's obviously gone too. But that could have been a fun way to mix it up, because that would have been a really good athlete at fullback that would have definitely been hard for defenses to adjust to. But this is definitely a good listen in light of the fact that Oots is having some issues. And the thing that Fleury said is that he really likes how defenses are often taken off guard by having multiple running backs on the field at once, and it's something that's really hard for them to adjust to. So definitely check that out, but Fleury sounds like he's on top of it. So the little bit of on-field stuff we got today, and at this point in camp, most of the stuff is going to be pretty minor, because like I said, the stuff that was special a few weeks ago is now business as usual. Andre Fuller did some drill work with D'Anthony Bell as big nickel. So this is kind of that thing we were talking about, where we're moving players around, letting them do different jobs and responsibilities, because we are trying to work towards them having flexibility and the capability of doing things that traditionally they wouldn't be able to do, so that there's an ability to be flexible. There's an ability to put players in positions that you wouldn't expect in the event of emergency. So Andre Fuller, by the way, not a particularly big player, but this goes back to the thing that Mike was talking about, where he doesn't want to pigeonhole a player in a position just because, well, that's just their position. That's not something that Mike seems to be into. The main highlight, it felt like, from today's camp, and this might be a little bit unengaging for some people, is JSN had a really good day. There was this clip that Greg Bell posted, and a little bit later, multiple touchdowns to JSN, according to Greg Bell. Now, look, we know how good JSN is. He doesn't need to do stuff in training camp for us to know how good a receiver he is. Like, if he didn't really do anything in training camp, I don't think any Seahawks fan would be worried, right? We would all be like, hey, that's still JSN. That's still our guy. We don't have anything to worry about. We know how good he is because we watched football last year. But nevertheless, it's still good to see him get the job done and show how good he is at football. So multiple beat reporters called out JSN as having a really good day. Witherspoon did get the day off, but no indication of an injury. Igbenogany had another good day, so he's starting to stack some good days here. It seems like he is the top nickel without Witherspoon on the field, and without Eamon Warry on the field as well. So it's sounding like he's going to make the team. You can never know for sure, but I am getting the sense that the team values him. And more positive feedback on Montori Foster Jr. And remember, he's a guy that has been singled out positively multiple times already. And who was it? I think it might have been, was it Nick Eamon Warry? Dude, one of our defensive players called Montori Foster Jr. out as being one of the guys who looks really good in camp so far, beyond just the guys who are obviously at the top of the depth chart at the position. So maybe there's room for him on this team, but it's tough to imagine. But there will be a practice squad spot open for him, I'm sure, if we can get him on there. Irv Charles also had a really nice catch on the sidelines here from a Jalen Milroe throw. So there's a little Jalen Milroe highlight, but I'm really happy that Irv Charles is out there healthy doing stuff, because I really do want him to make this team, because I feel like he could be a difference maker on special teams. And the fact that he's healthy right now gives him a chance. And there was a time where it looked like his body was just not in a good place, but last few days he's been out there and we've been hearing good things. So really hoping that holds. Leonard Williams was also one of the bigger stars of the day. Wrecked everything near the end of the practice on back-to-back snaps. And I mean, we're hearing all the right things from these players that want new contracts, right? Witherspoon, fully engaged. Leonard Williams, fully engaged. They're not causing problems because they want more money. So really cool, really good to hear, really good to see. So for the most part, today was like the expected stars of this team performing, which is never going to be as interesting as rookies and young players and fringe players performing, because they're the ones who could go one way or the other. But nevertheless, Leonard Williams, a lot of good stuff about him today. Apparently today was going to be a padded practice, but they decided to change it to have them in shells because of some players getting nicked up. And tomorrow's practice is going to be apparently shorter, so we might really not get much of anything out of tomorrow's practice, but I'll be here to talk about it regardless. So that's really all I got. I know it's a little bit shorter today, but that is what they gave us, and we're ready for a game, and hopefully it comes up soon here. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys soon.